We're going to take a look at all the problems with the 2002 Audi S6. So now we're going to take a look at the Audi S6 and see all the issues that it has. Minor issues, mostly no engine or transmission issues of any kind. Everything else seems to be tip-top shape, but there's a lot of little stuff here and there because, you know, Audi. So I'm going to start with the outside and work our way inside of the car to show you all the different things that are wrong with it. So the first thing that's wrong with this car is the headlights. Unfortunately, they've been sun faded, so they need a good cleaning up. Yeah, both of them are like that. Not very good. The next thing is the paint. I don't know if you can see it, but I guess the previous owner had a tarp over it, and it caused some sort of fogging on the clear coat. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to get that out. But it's just on the hood and the central area of the hood. All the rest of the car seems to be okay. But yeah, okay. And then there's a little bit of tree sap on the car too. I removed most of it using WD-40, and then the WD-40 got absorbed by the tree sap, and it came very brittle, and it was easy to take off. This spot I haven't taken off yet, but there's other spots on the car that I've already removed the stuff from. In the front, I have just this one dent, a little fading on some of the components here. So the body seems to be in fairly good shape. There's a little bit of residue from a tree sap there. I don't know if you can see it. There's also a nasty scratch right here. But the rest of the car is okay. There's not any little dings from people banging in at the grocery store or anything like that. But there is the dents in the back. There's a small one right here that's kind of hard to see. And there's another one right here. It's hard to tell. But you should be able to kind of see it there with reflection. And right there too. And then there's also this damage to the paint from scuffing against something. The car needs new tires. These need to be repainted. There's lines and distortions all over it, like it was a couple layers thick, but there probably was some damage to the rim. You can see some damage here, and when they covered it with the paint, they didn't do a very good job of sanding it down before putting paint on it. So I'll have to redo some of these. I won't be able to hide this stuff, but some of the other markings that are on here, I'll be able to do that. The other thing that I need to do is the rear brakes. They're squeaking. I don't know if you can see that, but there's not much pad left, and they're squealing, so they need to be replaced. And the front brakes are okay. And then the other thing here, there's a little crack right here, a little bit of paint damage from a rock that struck it. That's about it for the, well, yeah, there was this too. Maybe the same rock tumbled and hit the top of the roof, but there's no dents on the roof either that I can see. And then the rubber around the antenna, it's a little bit worn, needs to be replaced, but so far seems to be keeping the water out. Start working our way inside the car is missing the panel that covers this up, a little door or whatever, and then there's trim right here that's missing too. But the back is in good shape, nothing missing. Spare tire looks like it's been worn a bit, it's been used quite a few times, so probably need a new spare tire. Alright, here we are under the car, and the first thing you probably notice is that it's missing the undercover for the engine, so it needs that. There's a little bit of, looks like it cut a little bit of the cover off, so we'll have to figure out what to do with that. There's a little bit, hopefully you can see that, a little bit of seeping of oil. You can see it on those two nuts, but that goes all the way to the top, and I'll show you where that's coming from on top. Now the other problem is over here on both sides of the front suspension. The control arms, the bushings are gone and they're making a bunch of knocking sounds, so those need to be replaced on both sides. But the good thing is that the struts have been replaced recently, so those are in good shape. But everything else seems to be okay. No damage on the underside that I could see. It's really good shape, except a little bit of oil seeping, and we'll see what that is. Here's the mirror. As you can see, it's faded. It needs to be replaced as well. The other side's fine, but this one for some reason looks like that. With the engine, what I had to do was replace the belt. It was in bad shape, so I replaced the belt, but the oil leak is actually coming from this side. Well, actually both sides on the valve cover. It's just seeping a little bit, so the valve cover needs to be gasket needs to be replaced on both sides. And over here there was a antifreeze line that was leaking that needs to be replaced. It was brittle and it cracked. And now over here there's also a couple of air pump lines that need to be replaced. In the interior, everything is really pretty good shape. The cover is missing on the cup holder. The buttons are missing some of the paint, I guess, on them, so they're scratched up or missing the arrows that are on there. So that will need to be replaced somehow. But everything else is in pretty good shape. The light switch has been replaced. It was in pretty bad shape, but that one's actually in better shape. The paint on there needs to be replaced. Faded paint on there, on the steering wheel, but the steering wheel's in pretty good shape. The leather's intact, no scratches. The leather in the seats, oh sorry, the cup holder as well, on the back, it needs to be it's missing a plate on it as well, but I have that piece so I can glue that on. But overall the interior is in pretty good shape. The leather is intact. I conditioned it already, but it's still a little rough. I mean, it's not bad. It'll last for quite a while, but I'll need to recondition it some more. But yeah, that's pretty much the interior. Aftermarket radio was installed, Bluetooth, so it works really nice, but I need to do some rewiring on that. So that's everything that's wrong with the car, and I will need to start working on that stuff. As soon as I get the income tax, we're gonna purchase some parts and start working on it. I'll start recording, showing you all the different stuff that I work on. I still need to create a video to show how I did the clutch slave cylinder. So I'll show you how I did that. I'll show you where to go into, and I'll show you the part, the old part. I'll show you what the new part will look like, because they apparently did a improvement on the part. I'll discuss a little bit about the oil change, the trouble I ran into, and the trouble I ran into with the serpentine belt. So yeah, That was not fun because apparently auto parts stores have different listings for different parts for this car, and I have no idea why. It's like for a different 4.2 or something. So I'll go through some of that hopefully in the next video and discuss that with you. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and I also have the Instagram where I post rare cars. I like rare cars. There's 2 down the street that I need to go and record a little bit of so you guys can see some interesting cars. So stay tuned for that, and thank you.